Maybe you're playing Far Cry 5 and you decide you'd like to fly a helicopter a little bit easier than going around on the ground. So you pull up your map screen and you look for places you can launch helicopters from. What you're specifically looking for is a place called a helicopter shop. From the air, it looks something like that. There might be an H on it. There might not be an H on it. But it's kind of cool because you can basically spawn and launch helicopters from there. And we'll look at a little more on that later. As we're just going to scroll through the map and look at some areas you can fly helicopters from. Here's another spot, the Drubin Marina. There's a lot of different spots you can basically launch your helicopters or get a helicopter from. And there's some caveats to that. It's pretty sweet. I like to fast travel airdrop to the helicopter launch site, but helicopters are really nice for being able to get move on this terrain because you can go from one spot to another, and it's a lot easier to maneuver in this game, and they're pretty sweet. The other thing I like is there's a wide range of helicopters that are offered. Some of them you'll have to unlock as you play. Most of them you basically have to buy, so you have to save up money while you're playing the game. Once you get enough money saved up, however you plan to do it, you can make a purchase, try to purchase one that you like. Obviously, you don't need to purchase every one, but they're pretty sweet. Helicopters are pretty sweet to fly. And you scroll the map around, and then you look, and you go to the spot that shows a helicopter on the map. What you're going to do is you're going to hit the Y button, and you have a bunch of options. You can sell loot and stuff, items. But you're going to the thing called helicopters. You're going to select that button called helicopters right there. And then once you select the button called helicopters, you'll see a bunch of different options. In this case, I'm going to buy this one for $7,200. Okay, all you do to hit to spawn it is you hit Y to drive. This is obviously for the Xbox One. Vehicle delivery process. And voila, it's there. Now, one little caveat, it's not always going to spawn. And I will show you a little bit later how to get around that. If you do get one and for some reason it doesn't spawn, I'll show you why it doesn't spawn. But we'll tackle that a little bit later. These things are pretty sweet. If you look, there's controls. This is for the Xbox One. Basically, A to go up, B to go down, and then you can use the analog sticks to control how you're going. I think it's right triggers to fire, and then RB is to fire weapons, which we'll look at later. But yeah, this is pretty sweet. I like to skydive out of helicopters and just basically skydive in general. So obviously you're going to see me skydive here. We're looking at another location. We're looking at that helicopter symbol. I don't know if you can see it. I'm heading down to it though. And here's another spot we're going to go down to here. All right, we're just about landing here. And then we're going to walk up to this helicopter thing. And, okay. We're going to go in there and hit Y. All right. We're going to shop, try to buy a helicopter here. So we select A, helicopters. And you're going to see in a minute one of the problems I was running into. And I'm going to tell you how to get around it. So I'm looking at a couple different helicopters, and what I decide to do is go back and buy the cheaper one for $2,900. And yeah, I was debating. Okay, I purchased that for $2,900 there. And debating, all these different paint colors. I decided to go with a basic ugly green, neon green for $400. Okay. Got a purchase, so I hit Y eventually. Okay, spawn it. It says it cannot spawn it. When I look and it's not spawned.
I'm on it.
So I tell my teammate to move.
All right, I'm
And the
ready.
reason it wouldn't spawn is because my teammate was near the area. If you have one of your teammates near the helicopter spot, it's not going to spawn. So you have to move your teammate out of the area in order for it to spawn. There, we see it spawn right there. Now, another cool thing about helicopters is you don't have to fly it yourself. You can actually ride as a passenger. As you can see, one of my teammates is actually flying. And then you can control... It's a little complicated in the commands and stuff. Sometimes they push the wrong buttons here. But you can actually make them land. And, you know, you can be a passenger. The passenger part's kind of cool because if you were to attack a position, you can, you know, drop grenades. My hand, as you can see, there's a little bit of fire down there from grenade weapon I threw down. There's another weapon I threw down there. And the fire looks like a Molotov. Yeah, so you can be a passenger in the plane and have, you know, one of your teammates do it. You can also do that with cars. It's one of the cool things about Far Cry 5. But, you know, personally, I prefer to fly it myself. As you can see, there's some rockets there. The one thing about rockets is that you don't get very many of them. You get the machine gun quite a bit, but not very many rockets, and you have to spend $1,000 to refuel. So I usually don't. Or you can wait for it to respawn, and then you can refuel. So I typically wait for it to respawn, so I don't have to spend $1,000 because that can add up fast unless you've been playing a lot. Where you'd like to spend the money on the helicopter. But helicopters are pretty sweet. As you can see, my teammate was flying the helicopter right there.
Ready when you are.
And of course, he just landed, which gives me the opportunity to fly. And the other thing I really like to do is I like to actually exit out of the helicopter and bail, and then parachute and then watch it crash. Mostly, if I'm attacking a position, let's say I'm out of weapons, I use the helicopter as a weapon. In this case, I'm just randomly letting the thing crash. But it is pretty sweet how you see the thing crash. And then after we get on the ground, we take a look at it, and it's pretty neat how the different burnouts and different damage you can see on the chopper. It's pretty sweet, pretty sweet. I like how, and obviously if you crash it, you're not going to be able to fly the thing again. You'll have to wait, go to a helicopter spot, and may not be able to respawn that one right away, but you can, you know, respawn a different one. But it's pretty sweet. They could cost a little bit of money, obviously, and you'll unlock as you go. And the one thing to keep in mind is you got to have your teammates not near the helicopter spot. So in this case, I'm going to make them move. There we go. All right. Gonna make them move. Okay, this one moves here. This one moves here. Now they're out of the way. And of course, we can respawn one of our helicopters there. So we go to helicopter. And we want to drive this one. Okay, select it. Spawn. And turn to our right. There it is. Our beautiful helicopter to fly. These things are nice because you can cover a lot of terrain, and they're pretty sweet. I like it's another angle of fighting. You got to be careful. You don't want to get shot down. And sometimes you can have helicopter and helicopter fighting, which we don't have here because I pretty much beat the game. So I've taken out most of the enemy helicopter positions, but it's pretty sweet as far as being able to fly and attack stuff from the air. Here we're attacking, I think, a bear. Can't see if it's a bear or not. But yeah, it's pretty sweet how you can fire with a helicopter. It takes a little while to master the controls. You got to be careful though. If enemies have rockets, you don't want to get shot out of the air. But hey, it's a pretty cool weapon to have. Just remember, try to save up some money, get one at a shop, and then you can respawn as you cover more map territory. But yeah, these things are pretty sweet because you can land on islands. You can it's another form of fast travel, getting to spots that you maybe can't necessarily fast travel to on the map, because this is a mountainous region, as you can see. A lot of hills, a lot of trees and stuff. Helicopters definitely a way to go where you can't get in with vehicle like cars and stuff like that. It's pretty sweet, just watch out for the anti-aircraft fire, of course. Yeah, and if you look here, we're gonna cross back onto land in just a second here. But it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. You can go on the ground after you've attacked a position. You can see there's still fires going and stuff like that. I like how they interface with the world. It's just pretty neat. One other thing I would recommend, strongly recommend, if you don't have the rockets and stuff to shoot them down, or other types of weapons, if you get really good with the sniper angle, which I did over the course of the game, what's pretty cool is if you practice and you see an enemy Peggy in a helicopter, this is a good spot to practice here, you can actually shoot the pilot of the helicopter and it'll crash on its own. It takes a little bit of practice. It's kind of tough, but it's pretty sweet to take a sniper shot at a helicopter that's assaulting one of your positions and make the thing crash. One of my highlights of playing the game, or one of the most difficult things I had to do. It's pretty sweet. Anyway, that pretty much wraps up what I've learned about helicopters from playing Far Cry 5. Hopefully this helps a little bit. And good luck and enjoy your play. Thanks for watching.